Americans shouldn't demand that Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) should be abolished, but instead should call for a change in the policies the law enforcement agency's members are expected to enforce, former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson said in an opinion piece Saturday. If Americans don't like ICE's current enforcement policies, the public should demand a change in those policies, or a change in the leaders who promulgate those policies, Johnson, who served under President Barack Obama, wrote in his Washington Post piece. During the Vietnam War, millions of Americans demanded an end to the war. No one seriously demanded that we abolish the entire Defense Department, he added. Obviously, that would have completely compromised national security. Johnson, like a growing number of Democrats, has distanced himself from calls to abolish the agency over its enforcement of a policy that allowed children to be separated from parents entering the country illegally. President Donald Trump has used the call to abolish ICE as evidence that Democrats are soft on immigration, and Johnson wrote that abolishing the federal agency could indeed impede public safety, as it is a law enforcement agency. Johnson noted that the agency was managed differently while he was serving as secretary. President Barack Obama gave me the policy direction to focus ICE's deportation resources on recent border crossers and those undocumented immigrants convicted of serious crimes, said Johnson. In those years, the number of deportations from the interior United States went down, but the percentage of those deported who were serious criminals went up. Barriers between ICE and sanctuary cities were also stripped away, said Johnson. By the time I left office, 21 of the 25 largest jurisdictions that had refused to comply with ICE detainers' written requests to delay the release of people arrested by local law enforcement, had signaled a willingness to work with ICE again in pursuit of the most dangerous undocumented criminals, Johnson said. Johnson said he also reminded ICE's leaders even then that separating parents from children and pulling students from schools and deporting them would create a backlash in the communities where agents must work, and it would undermine the agency's mission. I regret to watch that happening now, as ICE is vilified across the country and sanctuary cities are emboldened to proclaim themselves as such, he said. My thoughts are with the hard-working men and women of the agency caught in the middle of this political firestorm. Politics. Americans shouldn't demand that Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) should be abolished, but instead should call for a change in the policies the law enforcement agency's members are expected to enforce, former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson said in an Jay Johnson, Department of Homeland Security, ICE, Illegal Immigration, President Donald Trump 405 Saturday 7 July 2018 2:51 p.m. 2018-51-07 Saturday 7 July 2018 2:51 p.m. Newsmax Inc. Newsmax Inc.